Greetings, fellow connectors. Welcome back to the Musical Connections podcast, and I am your musical connector, Zach Snow. Well, joining me right now, she is a singer-songwriter, and she's up for 3 MusicNL awards this year, and she also has a brand new album out called What Hasn't Killed Me. She's going to be celebrating the release of this album on October 17th at the Black Sheep. And joining me right now is the one and the only Rachel Cousins. Rachel, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And congratulations again on this brand new album. By the time that this drops, the album would already be out. And I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite albums of the year. I mean, all the songs that you put out, just from top to bottom, this really resonated with me. So,
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So, this is your first album since 2022's Aura. And as it says in your press release, and you've said many times when you played some of these songs, it's your most personal to date. So tell me a little bit about the making of What Hasn't Killed Me.
Yeah, I mean, this album was kind of it came at a random time, and it came when I wasn't expecting it to work out the way that it did. I met Greg, and I signed with Cove. We'll talk a bit about the pre-album meetings and stuff later on, but when it came to actually making the album, I had started writing probably a couple months before, we actually started any recording, maybe up to a year, closer to a year in months, I guess. But I remember I was writing a lot. I did a lot of co-writing sessions over Zoom, and it was a lot of great writing. It was a lot of personal writing still, but it wasn't as intimate as the stuff that I ended up writing when I was in California. I mean, a lot of the songs on the album are written just by myself, but there was a lot of instances of writing a song the night before and then going to studio the next day in California and showing Greg that song, and that was the song that got on instead of one that I had written for the album specifically. So I think the album just kind of wrote itself in a weird way. It just kind of fell together and things came out when they were supposed to. So instead of writing songs for the album and that becoming the album, it just kind of wrote itself. I would write the night before and go and record it the next morning kind of thing.
That's wicked. And of course, Greg Wells, one of the most successful producers in the 21st century. I mean, some of the names that he's worked with: One Republic, Katy Perry, Aerosmith, Carrie Underwood, and he's also worked on 2 Wicked movies, the first Wicked movie and Wicked for Good, I think is what it's called, the sequel. Mm-hmm. So you went to California around November, December of last year and worked on this whole record, What Hasn't Killed Me. What's it like working with Greg Wells?
Oh gosh, I can't say enough good about Greg, honestly. And I really mean that when I say it. I know some people might think that I just say it because he's my producer or because he's won multiple Grammys and he's as good as what he is. But I mean it when I say that he's such a good person, and I am so lucky to just be around him, and I'm always so grateful for the things that he instills in me just in that studio space in California. But also, my first trip up to California, it was 2 weeks. It was February of last year, and I stayed with Greg and his family. He has a wonderful wife, Nina. She is a wonderful person, and she's also so talented, so intelligent. And it's a house full of just these brilliant, down-to-earth people. And so I count myself very lucky to have gotten to know them in that way and stayed with him for those 2 weeks. They really made me feel like family. So I mean, working with him is one thing, and I've learned so much from him, and he's one of the greatest, truly. But he is just such a great person, and he gave me a lot of confidence in myself and what I'm putting out and just the art that I want to create now. There was a lot that I took away from that trip. Being in California is one thing, but working with him and getting to know him has been really special for sure.
Absolutely, and what he has brought to the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, I mean, he should not be taking time out of his busy schedule to work on our scene, but he is. Now, let's stick with Greg Wells for a minute, because he was in the province to record a brand new album for a former alumni of America's Got Talent Season 7, Jake Wesley Rogers, who's having a very consistent career for himself, too. Yourself and Summer Bennett were part of a recording session about a few weeks ago, by the time that this drops here. So what was it like recording a song or two with Jake Wesley Rogers?
Yeah, I mean, it was myself, Courtney Wicks, Janelle Chantel, Summer Bennett, and Amanda Stone from Cove. Jeremy Hearn was there taking pictures. Scott Legg was there. Jake's best friend Haley was there. Also got to meet her, lovely person as well. Jake is amazing. He's so talented, obviously. That's such a given. The minute you hear his voice or the minute you hear what he's writing and putting into the world, it's very easy to tell that this is a talented person. But he's honestly really lovely and was so welcoming and was more than happy to have myself and these ladies from Cove on this record, which I think is I always think it's so amazing when an artist is just willing to trust complete strangers with their baby, like this project. Yeah, him and Greg and Mike Miller, his part of his team, and someone that works with him production wise. They've been working out of Trinity Hall, and what they're recording is super special. I honestly can't wait for people to hear this record. I think that more people here specifically need to know about Jake and what he's doing. It's really special, and it's very like, I mean, everybody says it's very like Elton John, David Bowie, but it's honestly just very Jake Wesley Rogers. Like it's so unique, it's very niche, and it's so special. When you get to see it, just one of those people that just vibrates so much creative energy off of him. It was super inspiring. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun recording. And yeah, I mean, those ladies are wonderful, and I love working with all of them and getting to sing with those people whenever I can, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Now, what Greg has done ever since opening up Silly Cove Records, of course, I got to mention Ryan Gates as well with the amount of work that he's done for Silly Cove Records, and also discovering all these artists like Courtney, like Janelle, like Amanda Stone, and all these great people, and even Amity as well, and like yourself, and, bringing you on board to work with someone like of Greg Wells' caliber. How did that whole thing with Silly Cove Records really come together for you, Rachel?
Yeah, I mean, I went out to Trinity Hall for the grand opening. I just honestly wanted to be a part of it. And I mean, I think that myself and my mom had been in contact, and we were in touch with Ryan, and we went to the grand opening, and it was stellar. It was very personal. It was really emotional for people like a part of that town and that community. It was really sweet. And I remember I got to talk to Greg, and I don't know, it just felt like very easy. And we just talked about like how sweet it was to, allow like these seniors of Winterton to see the church open up again and hear that bell ring. And that's honestly what we spoke about. And that was the first time I met Greg, and it just kind of rolled from there. I honestly don't even know what happens. That's just how it happens in music. The snowball just keeps rolling. And so we just started talking about an album, and Greg, I mean, the amazing person he is doing this passion project and working with a not-for-profit and is making albums for multiple artists here. And I mean, what else could you ask for? You're working with one of the best. So yeah, I mean, it was just a conversation of let's make an album and see what happens. And it happened quite naturally, I would say. The process was like one of a kind. I don't think I'd ever replicate what happened there specifically. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And you told me earlier that this album really just wrote itself. I mean, from all the songs you put out so far, singles from Nora to Fail to As a Girl. And of course, you co-wrote Nora with Leanne Hoffman, Emily Barber and Claire Fall were your co-writes on As a Girl. And you also wrote some songs yourself, like To Fail and Crying While Wasted. And I just want to say congratulations again on 3 years sobriety, because especially in an industry which, like, a lot of our traditional songs are basically, about getting drunk, going out and having a party, and, getting wasted. And for you to, be a beacon of hope for people that can really, kick the habit, and especially now that you're 3 years into your sobriety journey, it's really impressive, and I really got to commend you for it.
Thank you. That really means a lot. I appreciate that.
So how does it feel like now to, have this milestone on your belt?
I mean, it's really wild. Like, addiction is something that is really hard to understand and wrap your head around until you're in it, until you are experiencing it, until you're living with someone who is struggling with it. And honestly, like, I knew that these things were a risk, and I knew that being in the music scene and stuff, like, it was just easier, but like, I'm genetically predisposed to it, and a lot of people are, specifically in Newfoundland, but it's just not something that you really think about. And I mean, I was like 21 at the peak of my addiction, and this young girl who's just like out living her life, I just thought I liked partying. I just thought I was that type of girl. I thought I was an extrovert, but it quickly became like a not even a habit. It was like I was intentionally doing it, but I was doing it to mask something within myself and to deal with things. I was in a really bad place mentally. And so I just very quickly tumbled into like full-blown alcoholism, and I was not a nice person when I was drinking. And I'm very aware of that. And I wasn't good to myself, and I wasn't good to people around me. And it was just like I was in a really rough lifestyle. I didn't treat my body well. I didn't feel good. I didn't look well. And I was still like upholding my career and my job while doing this. And so nobody really knew how bad I was struggling, which is the thing that comes with addiction and that comes with alcoholism. I always say now, something that I've learned like 3 years into being sober, like, people really see alcoholism as you have to be wasted every day and you have to be drinking a liter of vodka the minute you wake up. And sure, that is alcoholism for some people, and that's what addiction looks like for some people. But addiction really is different for everyone. And for me, it was like I was drinking pretty much every day, but to the point that maybe you wouldn't notice, or I was getting really drunk, but, you know, just another girl drunk on George Street. Like, it just wasn't something that people really comprehended as like, you know, she's struggling, until I really said, I'm struggling here and I need to drink to fall asleep and I need to whatever. And then people really understood how hard it was. And so I think that's why I'm so open now. I think more people just need someone to say like, yeah, this is how I was. And I really was struggling. And I think more people just need to have that conversation. And I wish that there was someone when I was 21 struggling at my worst. I wish that I had seen like just a girl on my For You page or somewhere just saying like, you know, you are struggling, or like this is addiction, or you will get out of it and you need to work on this, and just something like that. And I think that's all I want, is for someone to just be like, oh, I'm not alone and she's 24 and clean. You know what I mean? Like, just for someone to know that there is that possibility for themselves. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you are definitely a role model in, you know, conquering alcoholism. And for the fact that you did it at such a young age too, I mean, like, there's people out there like these days, they're maybe 30 or 40 or 50 and they're still drinking heavily. They're still like drinking, you know, every single day.
Addiction is the devil.
Absolutely. And for you to do that, you know, at 21 and now you're 24, you're now 3 years into your sobriety journey. It really, like, I've no other words to say. Again, I'm really proud of how far you've come since you've kicked that habit. And, like, especially now, when, like, I saw you play about a few weeks ago at the Music Day in Canada. It was at the Ship, and you still play the bar sometimes, and especially you have a residency now at the Black Sheep. Do you find it still hard sometimes, you know, keep that habit, like, really kick the habit down as far as you possibly can?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that people don't really recognize is that like I have to say no to myself every day. Like I'm an addict. I'm an addict. I have an addictive personality. Alcoholism is not something that you just curb and you're done with it. This is something for the rest of my life. I will have to say, no, I can't do that, or I won't do that, or I have to remove myself from these situations. The Black Sheep, another thing that was really important to me in my journey is like, I'm very upfront. I put my boundaries up front, clean and center. So like Don Marr, the owner of the Black Sheep, so supportive of me. James, like these people that work at these places know that I don't drink, know that if someone wants to buy me a drink, it's not happening. They know these things. And so it's kept so at bay, in a really supportive way. It doesn't even feel like I'm in a bar setting sometimes. It's like, I acknowledge the bar. I acknowledge that it's not the place that I am to be. Like I'm not just someone that like will go and sit at a bar now and whatever, but like, you know, I play at the bar. People know. The other thing is that like the Black Sheep on a Wednesday night, people know that they're coming to listen to like the sad folky girl stuff. And I'm not having people in that bar that are going to be wired, absolutely hammered, yelling. Like that's not happening for me. And Dawn knows that's not happening. And these people that are supportive of me know these things and know what structurally needs to happen. And everybody's been so supportive. I work at a bar right now. Like I'm bartending and waitressing, like most musicians are. And when I got hired, I said, I can't drink. I don't drink and I won't drink. I'm sober for a reason. I struggle with alcoholism. And all of that stuff is just always so taken into account when people really love and care about you. All of my coworkers are so supportive. If they're, you know, having a shot, it's, do you want a shot of ginger ale? Like, it's just always, and, you know, for me, like, I don't do any of these things anymore, like taking shots and of ginger ale or whatever. But, like, just those little acts of someone who doesn't quite understand your struggle, trying to make that gap close is really special. And so it's just about boundary. People know my boundaries. People know where I stand. People know that I don't want to be in the presence of, you know, super hammered, out of control. And it's just about standing on my boundaries. And I've always been that person. So, yeah.
Like, even now, like, when you're out and about and, you know, going and seeing some of your favorite performers, like, when you see people, you know, like, taking shots of vodka or tequila or even, like, whiskey and stuff, do you feel, like, left out at some point?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I mean, I'm a 24-year-old girl. I still mourn the loss of like these random things, like an outing with your girls and cocktails and martinis, and you know, I still take very much so a part. I'm a socialite. I love being out. When I first got sober, I still went out and, you know, went to clubs and stuff. I just avoided where I know I needed to avoid. And so, yes, 100%, I still look at groups of girls specifically that get to go out and get drunk and then still have fun and keep themselves together. And wake up the next day and be productive, like 100%. I get jealous of that. And I think that's a normal thing in addiction as well that, people talk about, and in support groups that's talked about, just mourning that you don't get to do that. Like, I remember when I first got sober, I was like, so I just, when I get married one day, like I won't be able to have that champagne or whatever. Like, those are just little things that you think about. And of course, sometimes I'm like, that's kind of a shame. But then when I really back out of that, like that my addiction mindset, which is that, I just immediately go back to like, I'm doing so much better for myself, and I feel like a different person. I am a different person completely than what I was when I was indulging in something that hurt me so much. So yeah, like I definitely mourn it. I grieve it sometimes. I get jealous that I'm not just like, one of the normal, I don't know what normal is, but one of the regular
What is normal?
girls. What is normal, truly. But, one of the girls that just gets to go out and get drunk with their girls and have a fun time. Yeah, sure. I feel left out sometimes, but for the most part, I feel pretty good after 3 years. I know that I'm doing something better for myself, and yeah.
For sure. Is there any advice you want to give to anybody that's, have been through the same thing as you, trying to kick that habit and is really having a hard time, like staying clean? Any advice you want to give them?
I would say relapse is sometimes a part of your recovery. I know that for a lot of people, relapses happen. I would say don't be discouraged. Being discouraged is another huge thing. I would also say give up, or try your best to give up on the shame mindset of things, because I read something one day that the shame that you hold is like so a part of that mentality that you had when you were struggling with addiction at your worst. And I think it's just about finding support and community. Be as raw and genuine as you want to be. People know that I say the ugly truths, and I just say it how it is. If I'm struggling, people know it. If I don't want to go to a bar one night because I know that it'll be a trigger, people know it. Like, I just communicate. I think communication is huge, and just finding the people that genuinely support you. You will find, and you will know who genuinely supports you in your sobriety, I promise you, because there will be people who couldn't care less, and there will be people who do everything in their power to help you through that, and you will find that. You'll know those people for sure.
Absolutely. And I say you've definitely found like a group of friends now that really support you and really support your sobriety journey.
Yeah.
And I definitely support you on your sobriety journey. And
Thanks,
again,
Zach.
I would say I'm very, very proud of you.
Thanks.
Of what you've done. Just maintain clean for 3 years. Like, I really wish I had your strength and perseverance, because
Thanks.
I think we'd all be better people if we had your strength.
Well, thank you. I think like people have told me that like I seem strong or whatever, but it's so funny because like I truly feel like one of the weakest people, and I say it all the time. Like, in my daily life, I feel very weak. I feel very like undetermined sometimes, and sometimes it's hard. Like, this is hard, and music is hard, and being clean is hard, and it's all really hard. But strength is one thing. I think another thing is like the discipline. I'm disciplined right now. Like, in my addiction, I'm disciplined. Strength, sometimes I'm not strong, but sometimes I have to do it weak and do it scared and do it upset. And that's just what I say to people. Do it scared, do it while you're weak. Just do those things. You don't have to be strong, Yeah.
No, for sure. And discipline is very, very important no matter what you're doing, whether it's kicking a habit of alcoholism, whether it's, making an album, or, creating something like this.
It all ties in.
Yeah, because you got to do it when you're upset, when you're happy, when you're not feeling it, when you're full of energy.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, the results will show.
Yes.
And of course, you performed at Music Day in Canada a couple of weeks ago. Yourself and Darcy Scott. Of course, Darcy accompanied you on a harmonica and guitar. And you guys did an amazing Fortunate Ones cover. And the Fortunate Ones actually shared it to their story themselves.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
So what was it like getting that opportunity to play for Music Day in Canada? Because St. John's was one of the 11 communities across the country that had this kind of spotlight. So what was it like performing for the Music Day in Canada series?
Yeah, it was really cool. I think that like the whole idea behind like a festival happening simultaneously but in different spots is, I don't know, that's kind of neat to me. Andrew Rogers hosted. He sang a new song. It was so good.
Awesome.
Rodney played, and the duo played. Such a sweet bunch, like super supportive and very kind, which I always just take note of when I meet people, specifically people I've just like never been around or like never, it was just, they were super sweet and very talented. And myself and Darcy had just gotten home from being away for 2 months, so it was really nice to get together and play. I love him so much, and like he's honestly one of my best friends, and we've been doing this together the whole time. Like, we started music at the same time, and it's nice to just have someone that gets you. So yeah, we played together, and he played the harmonica. We rehearsed like right before the show because he's been gone for 2 months, so it was great fun. It always feels really nice and grounded and present whenever we get to play together. And I think people really connected with it. So I'm really happy. It was a very sweet event for sure.
I think you two should make an album together.
And I'm sure we will. Multiple people have said this. I'm sure we will.
I know.
It would be a shame if we didn't.
And I'll continue to bug you about it until you make one.
No, I know. And everyone should, I think. Yeah.
For sure. Now, you've been at this for, I would say, about 10 or 15 years, because, like, you're only 24 years old, but you're, like, really one of the veterans now. And you're part of this, like, youth class, like yourself, like Darcy Scott, like Nick Earl, like Claire Follett. I think there's a couple of other people I'm forgetting, but, like, that core of young performers that are now becoming industry vets. So how did this all start for you, Rachel?
I mean, I was always like I loved attention as a kid. I just loved being on camera. I loved just everyone looking at me in the room. So my parents knew that I just loved entertaining from the start. There's like music kicking around the family because I grew up like in a Big Bay family. My family's from Point May.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, there's always like the guitar and, the accordion in the shed and everyone's singing. But like there's no direct music in my family and I didn't grow up with it in the house like many people thought I did. But when my mom was pregnant, she always had her headphones on her stomach playing music for me, and she thinks that's just kind of what did it. But I grew up just singing all the time, and I just could sing when I could talk, so my parents just knew that they had to do something about it. I was in voice lessons for like 10 years. I did musical theater. I did acting classes. I did film. I did all of the things because I just loved performance and like being on camera specifically and on stage. And I remember I did Annie the musical with St. John's Productions years ago. And I remember I was like one of the orphans and it was at Arts and Culture Center or Holy Heart, one of them. And I remember the red curtain going up and me being on this huge stage, audience full of people. And I remember getting that feeling. And I know now, I was too young to understand that, but I know now it was just pure adrenaline, like coursing through my body. And I was addicted. Like I instantly was just hooked with this, oh my gosh, I need to be on stage for the rest of my life. And I genuinely, people, like I'm not lying. I remember lying on this bed with the curtain going up in character. And I remember thinking like, I need to be on stage for the rest of my life. And so I instantly told my parents, like, I need to do this forever. I need to always be on stage. I need to go to LA and make pop music. And I just always said it. And my parents are the best. My family's the best. I never went to post-secondary. I graduated high school, wiped my hands clean of that. And I just started music. And my parents just 100% said full steam ahead. Get her in the voice lessons, let's get her traveling. So they've just, I really have to thank my parents. They could have easily said like, music, kid, no, let's get you into school. Let's get you. And it was just never that. It was like, Rachel wants to be a star. We need to do everything we can. And so I grew up very lucky and very blessed in that way. And I've always just been encouraged to do what I want to do, really.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to Hilda Cousins. She's up for Manager of the Year at the upcoming MusicNL Awards. And November 12th to 16th is when they're taking place in St. John's under the MusicNL Week banner. I mean, ever since I started going to these conferences, it's been Music Celebration Week.
Yeah.
So it's getting a little bit weird to, like, say MusicNL Week. But congratulations on your 3 nominations. None for your boy this year because of term limits I don't want to talk about. But anyways, I digress here. I want to stick with your mom for a minute because she's been your manager, of course, since you first started pop music. When you heard the announcement that she was up for Manager of the Year, what was going through your mind?
Oh gosh, I remember that morning. I was like sleeping in. I had a late night beforehand. I remember she like ran into my room and woke me up. And when I woke up, I like knew that it was gonna be the morning of everything coming out. So I was so excited. I was like, what's going on? And she was so excited. Like, it was like a kid on Christmas morning. And she said, I got nominated for Manager of the Year. And it was just, like, I'm going to say it. I was more excited for her than I am for myself this year. Like, it's truly such an honor to be nominated. I love it. It means so much to me every time. But, like, there's something about my mom being nominated. I like cried with her and for her, and everyone is so excited. My friends were over the moon for her. She works so hard. Like, I could cry thinking about it. My mom works harder than anyone I know, and she's constantly doing admin stuff and constantly working for me. I wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for my mom. I wouldn't be doing half the stuff. And a lot of people close to me know that, but like the general population doesn't know that enough for me. So this, for her to be up there for Manager of the Year, it just means everything to her and also to me, because it's finally like, yeah, people know, like, yes, she is my manager. And yes, she has been doing this my whole career. Like, she has been managing me for over a decade and just doing it for free. She's my mother. And it's like, you know what I mean? And she also does all of my visuals. She does every album cover.
Really?
She did my visual, and nobody knows that. She did my visuals for the album this year. She does all of my visuals for my past albums and everything. Like, mom's doing it. She does all of the things. She's my everything. And I, not just because she's my mom, like, she's truly my everything. And she keeps me afloat and keeps this career going and wheels on the ground.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, at your age right now, you probably, have a different manager at this point, but like you're still keeping your mom on board because like she's pretty much, is doing everything for you while, focus entirely on your music and creating this this vision of what you want to be as a pop star and also as a superstar here in the music industry here in Newfoundland and Labrador. And I feel right now you're one of the pop music standard bearers. I mean, when you look at people like Summer Bennett, that's really on the rise, and Zelia, who's on the rise, they look up to people like you and what you've done for the music of Newfoundland and Labrador. And it's just great to see that, like, your mom played a really big part of that and still does to this day.
Yeah. And like people, like everyone loves Hilda. Everyone loved Hilda when I was in high school. I loved having mom come into class and all of my friends seeing her. Mom's always just been that person for people. And has just always been like the universal mom. And even now, like in the music scene, I am always so excited. I show up to an event with Hilda and it's like people are just as excited to get to talk to Hilda and get to catch up with her, and people love her and people know that they can count on her and rely on her, and people turn to her now for advice. And it's so funny because sometimes she's like shocked that people come to her for stuff, and I'm like, no, and now she gets it. People understand that you know what you're doing. They look at my career and they know that this is something that you are literally doing. And if people look at my career and think that it's worth anything, or whatever people say, like, wow, you're doing so much, it's like, yeah. And she is on the whole back end of this. Like, she's doing it. You know what I mean? I'm very grateful for her. She's the best.
Oh, Hilda is absolutely amazing.
She's the best.
And you're amazing, just amazing too.
Thank you.
So, one thing that has really impressed me about your career since I've started, covering the music scene here in Newfoundland and Labrador is how well you blend into genres. I think I'm going to call you the music chameleon because you go into different genres and kill it every time.
Thanks.
I mean, when your debut album, I believe it's This Fire is what it was called, and you did a bit of alternative rock.
Yeah.
You went into pop music with your debut and with Aura, and you tackled traditional music in a sense with Ian Foster on Surrounded by Water. You did a song with the Volta, and that was an EDM. And now this brand new album, What Hasn't Killed Me, is a dive into adult contemporary. And you said when you played Music Day in Canada a few weeks ago, you don't like genres. I mean, you're going to be doing every single genre for each album now that you're going to be going through. I mean, you still have yet to do a country album, R&B with Hell and High Water, country, jazz, blues. You're going to be through all genres once all this is said and done. So what do you enjoy most about, going to different genres?
I think it's just that, like, I really feel that music was originally just like, and I'm talking originally, music was sound and it was expression and it was just what it was without boundaries or walls around it. And I think now that I'm making music and I'm making it so for me and from me instead of like what I think is marketable and what will hit the charts or whatever, because I genuinely mean, like, I wasn't thinking about that when it came to this album. Of course you want to know, like, that people are going to like it and, this song is great or whatever, but it wasn't like I need a charting song and I need to make this marketable and it needs to have verse, chorus. Like, it wasn't like that. And genre is a part of that for me. It ties right in. Like, I don't care to know. I remember, like, uploading this was even a nightmare for me. It's like, what genre is this? I don't know. I don't care. I frankly, like, I know that genres are useful in terms of marketing and for your streams and for apps and all these kinds of things. But, like, honestly, I think people would be making really sick music. And there's already so much good music happening right now. But, like, I can really imagine if people just stopped caring about meeting the wall of, like, what is too, like, you're making a pop song, but then what is too country? Or, like, you're making a folk song, but then what is too pop or rock? Like, it's just like, imagine if we just gave up on the line and just made what we want it to make. And I listen to artists like Dijon is a huge artist that I'm listening to right now. McGee, Bon Iver is one that I think about all the time. There's multiple artists that, like, and Billie Eilish is a good one. And she's more mainstream, somebody that's doing it. It's like someone that just writes an album and doesn't care what it is. Billie Eilish has, like, Chihiro, which is a full-on pop. There's, like, synths. There's so much going on. But then the next song is just, like, completely her and an acoustic guitar if she wants. And there's no care as to what that is or what that genre switch is. Bon Iver has, I don't even know what that genre is. McGee, don't know. Dijon, it's like R&B, but there's also a whole lot of other things going on there. And I just think that it makes it so much more colorful and in-depth and interesting. I love listening to a song and not knowing where it falls in the structure of things. I just am one of those people. I just write and I don't really care to know what I'm writing it for. But I have said, and I will always say that I would love to just like make multiple albums and multiple things. Why would I deny myself the part of me that wants to make a rock album just because this is not rock? You know what I mean? It's like, this is not rock, but this is the album that I just made. So who's to say that in 10 years, I won't have this really cool gothic rock swag? Like, who knows? And I think it's just the like leaning into the unknown and curiosity and playfulness more instead of like a structure of what I need to do. Because there's nothing I need to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But like, whatever genre you go into, you hit a home run every single time.
Thanks.
I mean, I'll just say this even further. I expect you to hit home runs, but you hit grand slams.
Thanks. Thank you.
Now, of course, this is a 9-track album, and of course, we're gonna feature the song. I'm gonna spin the wheel of the singles that you put out, and we're gonna play that right after this conversation here. But if you had to choose a favorite song from this album, "What Hasn't Killed Me," what would that be, and why?
I would say like the first thought to my head is Nora, because it's like what lit the fire in me to write the rest of this album and like follow the lead of what Nora was for me, this like anthem of self-love or self-exploration or just appreciating your friends, and just all of that just felt very like womanhood and girlhood and humanhood all wrapped in one. So Nora would be my immediate answer, but then like my favorite to play live, and so maybe it is one of my favorites, if not my favorite, is Crying While Wasted. Like that song, and of course because it's so personal to me and it's about me getting clean, but playing that song live, even if it's just acoustically, always does something for me. Like it just always does something different for me and makes me feel something really intense and visceral. I don't know what it is exactly. I think it's just because it's so liberating to talk about on the other side of things or something. I don't know. I don't really know what it is, and I think I like that I don't really know what it is. But I love Crying While Wasted. I love listening to it. I remember when we first started playing around with production and Greg let me listen to the first thing, I remember like crying and being super, it's just, I don't know. It's another part of working with Greg. Like he really captured my emotions and my intention in this production. I tracked the guitar on these and piano on Watch Your Mouth, but then Greg just did the rest of the things. Like I tracked that instrument and then he would just know instinctively what was meant to happen, of course, because he's a genius, but also just emotionally, and following my lead of intention was something that he did so beautifully, and I'm very grateful for that also.
For sure. I think Crying While Wasted is probably one of my favorite songs I think you've ever done.
Yeah.
Because it is so personal, and it really talks about your journey about, kicking the habit of alcoholism and, really explaining what it's like, being an addict
Yes.
of alcohol. So I just want to stick with that for a minute. Tell me a little bit about Crying While Wasted, because I believe you said whenever you play this live, you wrote this just the very night, I believe, that you decided you want to get clean?
It was in my first year of getting clean. So it was after I was already clean at this point, but it was in my first year. Yeah. I remember just like, it was probably 7 months. Like I want to say, I know it was in my first year, but it wasn't after. So, probably 6-7 months into being clean. I remember the months was really intimidating. Like once I hit the 1 year, there was something that kind of felt like okay, 1 year. But I remember like those months, even up until 12 months, it was just very daunting. Like I was only 12. It's like if this is where I am alcoholism wise, it was like the 6-month mark, I felt like I wasn't far enough away from it. Like it felt like, oh, I'm too close to what was happening. And I remember I wanted to write about this, but I didn't want to write about like, oh, I'm clean. And it's just not in my style to write the positive end of things. And so I remember I sat down with my guitar and I was strumming, and this song was written in like 45 minutes just because I just wrote it pure word vomit onto the page. I didn't have to rewrite much. It was just like genuinely a conversation between me and like this nobody that was on the other side, just like, this is what I was dealing with. And it was just the truths, like bartender cutting me off. That happened. I remember I found him like probably last year. I remember I found him and I was like, there's a song on my album about me getting clean, and you served me my like the last time I ever drank, you were serving me, and I was like, I talk about you in the song because the bartender that cut me off, like all of that's true. It's just truths. It's
That's
not
crazy.
It's not. I'm not adding on to anything. I'm not embellishing anything. It's like genuinely what it was like for me to be drinking, and what it was like for me to wake up the next morning with like no idea as to what happened. Like that's what Crying While Wasted is about, and just me constantly getting wasted to cry. Like that was just part of it.
Wow. I can also have the distinguished honor of being cut off by a bartender myself.
I think everybody's been there. Yeah.
ECMAs, I was having a really fun night and also shared a swig of gin with Gina Burgess. Gina, if you're watching this, thank you for that. But it's a really beautiful song, and
Thank you.
It's really like, again, your most personal that you've ever put out. So when it comes to your songwriting process, what goes into that?
It's honestly... It's different every time. Like, for the most part now when I'm writing, it takes me off guard. I think that at one point in my career, I was super, like, freaked out by writing and, like, is everybody just sitting down and saying, I'm going to write a good song now, and then it happens? Like, that's what I thought people were doing, and I felt really bad every time it wasn't happening. Turns out, that's not how it happens. You can't just say, like, I'm going to write a hit song, and well, sometimes it happens if you're Taylor Swift, but, like, for the most part, like, you can't just be like, this is going to be a banger. And then you sit down and you write like the song that you thought you were going to, it's just not how it works. And so I leaned into more of like just letting it happen if it was going to happen and not freaking out if something wasn't happening naturally. And it just happened a lot this album. Like I just sit down now and I fool around on guitar or piano or whatever it is. Greg has taught me to approach things with play, which changed my life for some reason. Like go back to what you were as a kid and just play. Stop judging it. Like stop looking at what you're writing and judging. The editor doesn't write with the writer or the author of a book and just edit while the person's writing. It doesn't happen like that. And so when I started writing just playfulness, just sitting down and hitting record and just improving, that's when I started landing. That's when I hit all these sweet spots. And so Crying While Wasted, Deserve More, To Fail was written quite quickly. Like just random things. Standing Still, I wrote that was the last song I wrote for the album, and I was in California. Just sat down one night with a guitar and wrote that full song in under an hour. Like it's just, it doesn't really, there's no method to my madness anymore. I've started writing on blank paper. I can't write on lines anymore because I've learned that it really dents like my creative flow.
Interesting.
Yeah, I tell everybody now, like try writing on blank paper, like a sketchbook, and it's just so much more liberating to like let my hand go wherever and write wherever I need to and let it be visual. It really helps to write a good song. But yeah, there's no method to my madness. I wrote Watch Your Mouth in California, had a day off, sat at the piano, wrote Watch Your Mouth in literally under an hour as well. It's weird. I don't know. And it's not, I'm not writing quickly because I'm this fantastic writer. It's like I'm writing quickly because I'm just being truthful and just doing it playfully and not being too weird about everything.
Yeah, you mentioned Taylor Swift in that conversation, and you have mentioned in some of your social media posts that if you're a fan of Taylor Swift or Phoebe Bridgers, then you'll like these new songs like Nora or To Fail or As a Girl or Crying While Wasted. Are those some of the artists that you're taking inspiration from to, make this new record?
The inspo for this record, like artist-wise, very specifically, I would say Lizzie McAlpine, Phoebe Bridgers / Boy Genius, because the trio that Phoebe was in is also huge inspo. Lizzie, Phoebe. There's so many people that I like. Honestly, you'd never guess who I listened to while making this album because it's complete opposite of what I make, but that also really helps me. Lennon Stella, Fleetwood Mac, like just very organic sounding things is what inspired me for this album. Lizzie McAlpine is one of my favorite writers ever, genuinely. And so I was very inspired by her. But then I'll also share that when I was listening to this, or when I was writing this album in California, like that full month I was in California, I was listening to Chromacopia, which is Tyler, the Creator's album, the one that came out before this one. And a lot of McGee and a lot of Deftones is what I was taking in for that month.
Okay.
So like literally opposite of what I was writing. I remember walking to studio every day with Chromacopia blaring in my ears. But I think it's like there's something about listening to the opposite end of what you're writing that really like gets your brain going in a different way instead of just on the same track. Like, what is that sound? What is that crazy vocal take? Like, it's just, I don't know. It just lights the brain up in a different way. And so I listen to a lot of things that I would never write, but just creatively it was genius.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to be celebrating the release of this album October 17th at the Black Sheep, a place you have a lot of history with. And of course, you have a residency there now. You're going to be doing a full band show to celebrate the record. What can people expect when they hear this album in full on October 17th?
I'm really excited. I'm playing with a full band. I'm playing with Hunter and Alan and Brendan, and I have Claire Follett on for this one too. So it's like a mix of the people I get to play with all the time and switch in, switch out. It's like a mix of the new band that I've been playing with for a couple months now, and they're honestly the best, and I love playing like with this group, and I love playing the new songs with them. And Claire's been riding with me for a couple years now, and she's still, just one of the best, and she's always been so supportive and is truly such a loyal like friend and playmate. And so I'm excited to have her and the rest of the boys. They're all so cool and so fun, and so it's gonna be a really fun night. I know that for sure. It's easy for me to like get really nervous and stressed out about things, but I'm honestly just really excited because I know this night's gonna be really fun and just like a pure celebration of what this album is. And I'm excited to like announce an opener once we get all that sorted. And yeah, it's gonna be good fun. And I love the Black Sheep. So.
Oh yeah, and by the time this drops, we'll probably already announce that opener. But we'll just leave the listeners in anticipation. But I'd say by the time that this drops, you'll have the opener already announced, I would imagine.
Yeah, hopefully.
But we're going to get to one of those new songs now. Again, I'll spin the wheel of singles and see what I land on. But again, this album, top to bottom, is, again, one of your best. And really one of the best releases I've heard so far this year. Because when it comes to doing all these episodes of the podcast and all the releases I cover, I don't really get enough time to enjoy all of them at the one time, but I really, really enjoyed this one. Now, for people who want to find out more about Rachel Cousins, any dates you got on the go, and everything you got in the works, where can they go when it comes to, say, a website and socials?
My website is rachelcousinsmusic.com, and all of my socials is Rachel Cousins Music, and you'll be able to find links like in the bio of my Instagram is where you can find my link tree with everything there, and links to my show you can find on my Facebook and my Instagram.
Rachel, the first interview I remember you and me doing was for this Fire. It was for CHMR in 2017, and to see 2017 Rachel into the 2025 version of Rachel that we see right now. Again, you've come so far in such a short amount of time. And again, with this record, your best work to date, and it's only onward and upward from here. And I can't wait for people to hear the album when it does come out. And by the time that this drops, it would have already been out. Rachel, thanks again for coming in and doing this. And congratulations on all your success. And congrats again on this brand new record.
Thanks. And thanks for having me. It's always a good chat.